Man, have I got some explaining to do, huh? Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Aylin. It is somehow February 2025, which is absolutely insane, and we are going to be doing my reset today, but I thought I would give a little bit of an explanation. If you couldn't tell, we're not in the same setup. I moved states. Surprise! I have kind of been hinting about this throughout the past year. It's something we talked about for about a year and 3 months before it actually happened. I did make a video. I sat down, filmed it. I think I even edited it. A video explaining that we were moving before we actually moved. But obviously moving is a lot of work. It's very chaotic. Both the packing and then the unpacking, all of the logistical stuff, settling. It's definitely been an adjustment. Not that I regret anything about this move. I am genuinely so excited. Everything worked out so well, and as so many people in my life have constantly reminded me, things don't usually work out that well unless they're meant to happen. And I agree. I do definitely think that we are here, sounds cliche to say, but for a reason. I think things lined up too perfectly for it to not have been the right thing for us. Doesn't mean it's not an adjustment. We moved completely away from all of our family and everything that we've ever known. Adjustment, to say the least. Which is why that video has yet to be posted. If you still want it, I can definitely post it. You'll just have to let me know in the comments, but that is the TLDR. We moved the first week in January, and ever since then I have just been trying to slowly unpack, find a place for everything, get everything settled, get myself settled, because also when we moved here, we both got sick. We're in the new library, which is very exciting. It is my dream setup. Honestly, it's beautiful. I also did film a bookshelf tour of my last setup, so that will be coming. And I filmed the entire process of setting up my new shelves and my whole library and everything. I have like a little series on TikTok if you want that, but I will also be coming out with a YouTube video, so if you just want to stay here, you don't have TikTok, whatever the case may be, it will be here shortly. I hope. I'm hoping we can get back to our regularly scheduled programming of meeting back here at least once a week and hanging out for a little bit. Today it's going to be a little bit longer than a little bit because we have a lot on the agenda in question. I have purchased a couple of books since moving, not a ton. We're gonna go through that. I did also film me going to the bookstore for the first little bit. I will include that footage in this vlog. Since I'm so late to posting and kind of missed the window, or at least it feels like I missed the window of filming like end of year, beginning of this year content, I wanted to incorporate that into some other videos kind of slowly. So we're going to go over my reading goals for 2025. We're obviously going to talk about the books that I'm currently in the middle of, because I am never reading one book at a time. It just never happens. And I'll give you like a brief little tour of the setup and kind of what we're working with. I think that's everything that I needed to go over. It's been a while. If I forgot something or there's something you're wondering in the comments, feel free to ask, because like I said, it has been a minute. Let's hop into a tour of the new space just so you guys can see where we are, what our setup is going to be looking like now. Might even be my favorite setup that we've ever had so far. That's kind of the new setup, which I personally think is stunning. I do have my two shorter bookshelves. They are just in our room, which needs to be cleaned. Next order of business. As I've mentioned several times already in this video, I was kind of having a tough time, and you guys know the one thing that will always ground me no matter where I am is a trip to the bookstore. Alright, just got some boba, which I have been so obsessed with lately. Like, I want it at all times. If you have a kung fu tea near you, I always get the honey milk tea with less sugar and regular bubbles, and it is so good. 10 out of 10 would recommend. You could also get the mango popping bubbles in it, which sounds really weird, but it's delicious. We're going to Barnes. I got a gift card from my sister and I haven't spent it yet. I haven't really been to the bookstore since moving here. I went into one 5 minutes before they closed just to kind of scope it out. Didn't really like that one, to be honest. The shelves were really tall. It just felt like really claustrophobic in there. We're trying a different one today. I'm really excited about it. I saw that there are like special editions of Powerful that are the same height as Powerless, which is like the #1 thing I want to get. But I also want to look for some new releases and things like that. I pre-ordered Onyx Storm, so I don't need a copy of that. If they have a copy that doesn't have the stenciled edges, I might get that because I like to annotate those copies. I also know that there was a new release in the Wayward Children series, so I might pick that up. Beyond that, I don't know. Having a little boba while I bookshop, 10 out of 10 experience. I've been to Barnes in I don't know how long. Alright, I am back in the car. I did spend quite a while in there, I'll be honest. Good vibes in that Barnes & Noble. The other one wasn't bad, it was just each section was really small. This one felt a lot more like the Barnes & Noble that I had at home. Any little thing that I can do, give myself some familiarity and like make myself more comfortable, I'm gonna do. The transition has honestly been really difficult for me. I haven't moved states since I was very young. Not very young, the last time I did it was like 15, but that's 9 years ago. Moving states and not having school to like force me into new friendships and things like that has definitely been a challenge that I'm trying to navigate. So this is like the first time that I have really been out of the house by myself and didn't feel like everyone was looking at me or I felt out of place. So for this to have been like enjoyable was, I think, like a really big step. I only got 2 books. We'll do the book haul when I get home. They did not have the edition of Powerful that I wanted, so I'm gonna look into ordering it because I really want it. As I said, we would do the book haul when I got home. I wanted to show you guys the books that I have acquired since being here. Not just in that clip, but I did buy a couple of books on an outing that my partner and I took to a smaller indie bookshop. Adrift and Currents Clean and Clear by Shauna McGuire. This is the, I don't even know what book in the series at this point, 8 or 9, I think, in the Wayward Children series. These are usually one of my first reads for the year. Haven't read it yet, and that is because I want to do a reread of the series so it's all very fresh in my mind. So I'm kind of putting it off for that, but I'm excited. This cover is adorable. And I picked up 6 Scorched Roses by Chris Broadbent. Excited to read this series eventually. Don't know when it's gonna happen. I did pick that up. As I mentioned, my partner and I went to a little indie bookshop as we were exploring the city near us. There was an author with a novella that she had published in preparation for a series that she is planning on releasing, I believe, later this year. And it is Cranberry Kisses by Sierra Zink or Zinky. Gave me a little sticker. This is taking place on a cranberry farm in Wisconsin. I believe it's maybe Childhood Friends to Lovers. A very, very short novella. It's like 85 pages. I think it would more qualify as a short story. Haven't read it yet. I'm hoping to in maybe like a vlog this month. It was cool to be able to support her, meet her, talk to her about her experience as she is self-published. And lastly, at that same bookstore, I picked up Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan, which is one that I really want to read very soon. I don't know if it'll be this month or not. I believe last year or maybe the year before she published the sequel to this book, and I believe the 3rd one is coming out this year. They sound very good. I believe this one is about a woman who is maybe divorced. Couldn't save their marriage. Yasmin wasn't prepared for her life apart. Yeah, they're co-parenting and they're drawn back to each other and trying to, I think, figure out their relationship in a healthy way since before it wasn't successful. So, like a second chance romance. But I know that this one has a lot of really high praise. I've read Kennedy Ryan in the past and I absolutely loved her books. Those were all of the books that I have acquired since moving. Hasn't been a ton, and don't worry your pretty little mind. I did pre-order Onyx Storm, but I sent it to my mom's house because I knew we were moving, but I wasn't sure what that address would be. Obviously, my mom is sending it to me. I just don't physically have it yet, but I will have that stunning copy in my hands soon.
Feels like the first time. Throw away all my...
Fun fact about me, there is nothing I hate more than using a tripod as a tripod. You're currently sitting on a vase. As you would have just seen, I did spend some time writing out my 2025 goals. So I thought we could go through them together because, like I mentioned, I feel like I missed the window for posting New Year content. My goals are some of my favorite videos to film each year and watch how they might have changed or stayed the same. Either way, I think it's fun to hold myself accountable, and something that I really want to implement this year that I'm kind of just deciding now is to, in each reset, do kind of a check-in on how I'm doing with those goals to help hold myself accountable, and maybe you guys can help hold me accountable in that as well. How many books do I want to read this year? 100, which I haven't done in a few years now. I haven't come I wouldn't say I haven't come close. I ended the year last year at 76, which I was very happy with because the year prior I read 38, I believe, so I literally doubled that number. Prior to 2023, I read, I think, 93 books in a year, and that is a very comfortable place for me. So I want to push myself a little bit more this year, read a little bit more than I did last year. I'm happy for the most part with what I was able to accomplish last year. This year, basically, you'll see in my goals, I just want to do more of that, more of the things that make me happy, more of the things that bring me joy and will hold me accountable along the way, also make me more successful. I wanted my goals to reflect that. I think they will. I think you'll see that. I want to make better content, and I don't say that in a self-deprecating way, like I didn't enjoy the content that I was making last year, because I definitely was. But I think the second half of the year, the last quarter of the year more specifically, did a really good job. I was really happy with the videos that I was making. I was really proud of each and every single one of them. I would not have been embarrassed if I had walked into a room and saw someone playing them, which is kind of my guide for whether or not I like the video. I want to make better content. I want to be better with editing the actual video and the thumbnail. I want the content to be more engaging, hopefully maybe a little bit more fun, personable. I want it to feel more connected, because for the past couple of years I have felt a disconnect, which I haven't really liked. That's kind of where that's coming from, but I also want to be proud of the videos that I'm making. I want to do more themed vlogs. I started doing those toward the end of last year as well, and they were really fun. I got a lot more reading accomplished in those videos, just in general, but also in my physical TBR, which is obviously like the #1 goal for so many readers. Next one I have every single year, read more diversely. That is from authors, the characters that they are writing about, the stories that they are writing and that the characters are experiencing, etc., etc. I just think that is very important. I want to continue the series that I'm reading. That is another thing that I was doing a pretty good job at the end of last year. I'm very proud of myself, very pleased with that, and I have carried over, I would say, pretty well this year. So I just want to be better about that. Continuing and finishing series I'm in the middle of, if they are already completed. So like the Chestnut Springs series, we'll get into my current reads in a little bit, but I have already continued on with that series this year, which I'm really proud of. The Empyrean series, catching up on that, even though not all of the books are out. I want to annotate more. I did a decent job of it last year with the books that I annotated, but I didn't annotate a ton of books, and there are a lot that I would like to annotate, and I think that's actually one of the things that sometimes holds me back from reading a book, is knowing that I have to come up with an annotation key, and that can be really overwhelming, and also knowing that it will take me longer to read a book if I am annotating it. But I love and cherish the books that I have annotated, because I just feel like there's more sentiment to them and the reading experience I had with them. I don't have a number or a percentage of books that I want to annotate. I just want to do more. More of my physical TBR. Obviously, something I'm considering doing that I know a lot of other people, at least some of my friends, are doing is having I have to read X amount of books on my physical TBR before I can acquire a new one. I'm thinking that number could be anywhere from 3 to 5 because I know I like book buying. I know sometimes I just need a bookshop date, but that would exclude any of the anticipated releases that I have, especially if it is for a series. And I will hopefully do like kind of a segment in a video of some anticipated releases. Unless you guys want a dedicated video for my anticipated releases of 2025, then I can definitely do that as well. Just let me know. But yeah, I would exclude those because those are already things that mentally I've committed to purchasing. I want to read more manga. I was unpacking my books and putting them away and realized that I haven't read a lot of it, and I haven't read a lot of it in a while. I want to give myself the room and permission to reread books that I want to like continue the series. So An Ember in the Ashes is a series that I have been kind of in the middle of for a few years now, but I don't remember enough for me to just go into the last book. I also want to do more reading sprints. I did some the other day with Stasia and it was so much fun. It was so refreshing. I don't know why I haven't done more of them in such a while. I loved them and I would like to do them hopefully maybe like once a month. And then I want to read more of my book of the month books. Ideally like to read about 1 a month on average. So maybe that means I read 2 one month and then maybe not any the next month. As long as I have that subscription, I need to be reading them. So 1 every month I think is fair. Hopefully it will be more. 12 by the end of the year would be ideal. Those are my reading goals for 2025. Hopefully we can do like a good little check-in each month in these resets or maybe in my wrap-ups. I feel like this video is already so long and so chatty that we're just going to get into the books that I'm currently reading that I'm carrying over into February, and then get into some of the books that are kind of on my TBR. Next month will be different. It'll be a little bit more cohesive and a lot less chatting, so hopefully it'll be more fun than this one. But we just had so much to catch up on, I feel like, so before we dive into some of the books that are on my radar to read this month, let's talk about the books that I am currently in the middle of because, like I said earlier, chronically not a single book at a time girl. Thoroughly embarrassed to be admitting this first one. Magnolia Parks Into the Dark. Have not moved a muscle since November. I'm nervous, okay? I'm nervous. I'm scared. I'm actually terrified is probably the best word to describe it. I would like to finish this the first quarter of this year. Hopefully progress will be made in February. But obviously I am still currently reading this one. I mentioned earlier that I have continued on with the Chestnut Springs series, and I am actually on Powerless. I finished Heartless. This is the 3rd book in the Chestnut Springs series. We are following Jasper and Sloan. Jasper is an NHL player, but he was basically raised by Harvey, who is the father of the Eaton boys. Bo was his best friend in high school, kind of brought him home, and that is where he met Sloan. It's a childhood friends to lovers. They just never got the timing right or admitted that they had feelings for one another. They also had like a little bit of an age gap that just made it weird enough while they were kids, but as adults it doesn't really matter. The book starts out with Sloan at her wedding and she runs away because her fiance sucks. It is beautiful so far. I'm about a quarter of the way through and maybe even continue on with the series again. Who knows? And then this next one is really random out of left field. I'll Be Gone for Christmas. It is a Christmas book, obviously. This is a romance by Georgia K. Boone. If you've seen The Holiday, it is basically the same vibe as that. They are switching houses for the Christmas season because they both have things that they're kind of trying to get away from in their towns. One of our main characters lives in San Francisco, the other lives in Salem, Ohio. Like I said, they switch and kind of find their bearings in the other person's environment, I guess. So we are following Clover and Bee. I started listening to this because I had the audiobook. I had tried to check the audiobook out around Christmas time, but it wasn't available through the library for a few weeks, so when it became available I tried to listen to it, but I did not finish it in time because moving is chaos. But I'm about halfway through. I would really like to finish this one. Might put a pin in it because I did request the audiobook again. This is not that long. I might just finish it physically. So, but I am really enjoying this one. I'm liking it a lot. Very weird to be recommending a holiday book when it is not the holidays. You don't like Christmas a ton, or you want to read a Christmassy book but you're not fully feeling the season, this would be a good one. I think this would be better to read around the holidays. It's not like shoving Christmas down my throat, but I feel like it would be fun if you're feeling a little bit grinchy. Getting into the rest of the books that I would hopefully like to complete this month. Stasia, Rylan, and I are doing a buddy read of The Favorites by Lane Fargo. I recently saw Sarah Caroli read this and say that the chapters were so short and it was giving kind of Daisy Jones and the Six vibes, where there are like interview sections and things like that, and that it was really, really addicting. So I'm very excited to pick this up. This will probably be one of my first reads in the month of February because I am so excited about this book, and I loved Lane Fargo's other book that they had published a couple of years ago. So really anticipating this one, and I can't wait to read it with my friends. That will just make it so much more special. Plus, that one is a book of the month book. I do have another book of the month book that I wanted to read in December and it just didn't end up happening, and that is Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. Both Stasia and Rylan have already read this one. They said that this one was really good and they both really liked it, so I'm excited to read this one because I have read Good Bad Girl by Alice Feeney and I really enjoyed it, so I want to read more of her work, which is another book of the month book because I didn't read one in January. I was getting the itch to read another Junji Ito because it's been such a long time since I read a Junji Ito, so I was thinking Soichi. This is a short story collection bind up. Honestly, I picked this one because I associate the color purple with the month of February, and this one has a purple spine. I put these over here, but I was putting these other ones behind here. I don't know what I'm doing. Then Stasia and Rylan read the Kingmaker series, or duology, last month, and I wanted to read it with them, truly, but life was lifing. I was trying to get this room sorted, and it just felt so unsettled that I was really only reading on my Kindle before bed or listening to an audiobook while unpacking. I would like to catch up with their book club picks for this year and read this duology. I only have the first one. I think I might try to find the second one in the same edition on Pango and try my luck, but I know that they were traditionally published. Stasia and Rylan both really enjoyed this one, so I would like to read this month. And then the next one that I really need to read this month is Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. This is the second book in the Empyrean series, the first one obviously being the beloved Fourth Wing. I want to be fresh for Onyx Storm, and I also want to annotate this one, so it might take me a little bit longer than the month of February. I am excited, especially now that we have Onyx Storm, that I'll be able to kind of marathon these two books if I really want to. But I just want to be better about continuing series, and I have these, so I would like to hopefully start this one. If I can finish it, that's great, but if I start it, I will be proud of myself. Those are some of the books that are kind of on my radar for this month. I don't know fully what I will get into. That's just kind of an idea. I'm just in such a weird headspace that I don't know what else I will pick up. So I'm excited to get back into a routine this month and hopefully get that settled out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I have missed you so much. I saw a comment saying that you guys missed me from a little over a week ago, and it warmed my heart. I didn't mean to disappear for a month. It has just been stressful, which you guys have always been the most understanding people ever. Truly so grateful, but also I thank you. That is it for me from now. I'm not disappearing for a long time. I do have a lot of footage to comb through, so if it takes me a little bit more than a week, don't panic. It's just a lot. That is going to be it. I love you guys so much. I hope you're doing well, reading, mentally, and otherwise. Feels so good to be saying that again. Hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I really hope to see you all in my next one really, really soon. Bye, guys.